Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Shaun Builds A Blank. Now, before we get started with what we're going to build, I want to go ahead and go over the suspended coaster one more time, because it might look a little bit different than the last time you saw it. Firstly, as you see, I kind of added a little plaza out in front of it that I personally think looks really, really nice, and like I'm probably gonna stick with fully theming out this area. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you're probably not. I'm just thinking it for you. I said I'm not going to turn this into a park. I'm probably going to turn this into a park. And I don't know if I'm probably not going to keep all the rides that I have um I'm probably not going to keep the jet coaster cuz I don't really think it would fit with the park. But I don't know. I might end up keeping it. It just really depends on how this whole thing works out. But let's go over this really quick. So this is Ridge Runner, as you know. Um, I changed the color just slightly. I think it's a different shade of yellow. And I changed the train color so that the colors are black, dark red, and kind of a gold color. I think it might be the same color as the supports, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, I changed the ride's layout, where instead of it going all the way to here and then dropping, I have it cutting closer to the exit path, and then it does its drop, which is no longer a straight drop. It kind of twists as it goes down. And I think all of this is the same. And then up here, and then this part is slightly different. I made it lower to the ground, and I also fixed some of the banking coming off the drop. It was banked too much, so the ride vehicles are kind of hanging in on itself, which isn't really good for it. Like, the ride can handle it, but it's not supposed to. Let's see, I messed with this area ever so slightly, and then the main thing that I changed is the ending, where instead of it going this way and then just rising up into the brakes, I added a really, really tight helix, which swings decently hard, but not too hard, because the ride's already near the end of its run. And then instead of it having the long drawn out turn, it has this kind of a smaller one instead. And in doing so, I did raise the excitement from 4.1 something to 446. Fear stayed about the same, nausea stayed the same. And it now has 2 moments of airtime, and it still has 3 inversions. The max vertical G-force is fixed a lot. That was mostly done from fixing the first drop. That turn that followed right after was just a bit too hard. Also, I added this right here. I haven't done anything with it yet. I just kind of have it here as I guess it's kind of a placeholder, but I might end up keeping it. I'm not really sure how I want the path over here to work. I was kind of considering having it mostly cliffside. So the path would run along here and then kind of this way. That way you can have like the entrance and exit right here. And then over here, I don't really know what I want to do yet. But anyways, let's get back to what you're all here for. Today we are going to build a RMC T-rex coaster. And I know in the past I said I wasn't going to do one of these because there isn't one in real life. And there still isn't, but there might be soon. Well, at least the Raptor variant, which is the smaller one. But, like, we have a rough concept of what it does, and it's a very rough concept, and I'm going to try and capture that feel that the concept art showed. So we're going to start out with a really, really, really steep lift hill, and I'm just going to make it pretty short. I'll make that a little bit more drawn out. Okay, and I don't like this. I don't like the station. That's how it should be. Also, this ride isn't final. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I might, but I'm probably gonna redo a lot of it, depending on how it turns out. But anyways, we're gonna start off here with a very, very steep drop. I kind of have the drop modeled after like the Intamin, like junior hypers, or no, there's a different name for it. It's a megalite. Sorry, junior hyper. Sorry, I just sounded like an idiot right then. Oh, what kind of nerd are you? Sorry. Um, anyways, on the concept art, it shows them having a top hat directly after the drop. So we're going to do that right now. Let me see how this is going to turn out. Let's get you more like that, and okay, it doesn't like that. It likes that though. And then banking to 0. Oh geez. Okay, well it's letting me do it. That's good at least. And we're at 124. It's gonna be questionable whether or not it clears this. Also, I'm gonna turn on angle snap just so I can arrange that a little bit better. And I'm not building this top hat how I normally would, because it's not letting me. Whoa. I can't. I don't know which direction that's twisting. Oh, the wrong way. Okay. I want it to twist like that, and then I also want you to come outward. Is that possible? That doesn't really look like what I want you to do, but that's fine. Whatever. Let's get the banking back to there. And why doesn't it like that? But not there. That's too much. What if I turn on auto tunnel? Then will you be like, yeah, you can do that? No, I guess that's too big. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's a thing. Let's start testing this. This is awful. I'm already failing this this design. This is not at all what the top hat looked like. I'm hoping that when I smooth it, it'll kind of get it better looking. So right now this looks pretty terrible. Let's get like centered or something. Like, I don't hate the design of the top hat. Like, I think it actually looks okay. Ah, that was actually pretty good. I take back what I said. Okay, now that's too big, so we're gonna bottom you out there. And back down to a small hill. It seems like something that RMC would do, so cool. We smooth out this drop a little bit. May as well keep everything smooth while I'm already in the process of it. Okay, that looks good. Now, I don't have the concept art pulled up or anything right now, so after this top hat, it's kind of just all going to be guessing, and that's the worst top hat I've ever seen. That's so bad. Oh god, I'm ashamed actually. Let me see if me doing that will fix it at all. Let's see. Kind of, but not really. Because now that's too close. So if I go like that, and then I drag the rest of that over. What is it doing? The shadow's changing, but its position isn't. No, I don't want that. I want left to right. This is already going really, really badly. Okay, I'm gonna delete that. I'm just gonna delete all of that. I can rebuild that. Now, are you turning at all? Because if you are, I don't want you to. Yeah, of course it is. And little airtime hill right there. Should give you some pretty decent floater airtime. And going right here, we will add a stall. Because RMCs love to have stalls on them. Actually, I'm going to make that a little bit shorter to there, and then there, and then there. Yeah. And then elongate that, and down to about there. It's a pretty good looking stall. Let me smooth this just a slight bit. I don't want to smooth it too much, because then it'll mess with the shaping. Luckily I did set the heart line, so any smoothing that it does do probably won't mess it up that much. Just a tiny bit. I think that out of all the real-life coasters in the game, wooden, suspended, and RMC are like my favorite type to make. The T-rex track, I kind of don't know yet, just because there's no real-life example, so I have nothing to base it off of. And as far as the building goes, it's just like building like basically any other coaster in the game. Like, it's not really that special, to be honest, other than that the track type is completely unique. There is nothing like it anywhere. Also, is that outward banked? Holy crap, that's outward banked. That unintentional, but awesome. Yeah, that right there would be amazing. What are the heat maps like on it? Excitement. Not no, I can't tell. People hate that part though. And then the fear. Imagine, oh, it's green. Cool. How's the stall? Oh yeah, it's all good. People seem to really like that hill. Well, people that don't exist seem to really like that hill. Alright, now we kind of want to start coming back on what we've done. Let's see, let's go to none. I think these are supposed to be fairly compact coasters. So I'm going to try and keep it that way. Also, I just remembered that I had a really, really fun idea for a video, but I haven't done it yet. I kind of want to try and replicate the space that Boomerang at Knott's had, and try and build something in a space that's very similar, and see if I can figure out like what they could possibly be getting with that much space. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pre-made Boomerang layout, although I think there's a really, really accurate one in the workshop, so I'll probably just use that one and then credit that person for it. Because I'm not the type that's going to steal someone's stuff and do that. If you are that type of person, stop doing that. Don't steal other people's stuff, and definitely, like, if you're going to use it, give them full credit, because all you're doing is clicking a button and placing it in your park, and there's no work involved in that, so you don't get any credit. When I was first starting off with my Knott's Park, um, I used some scenery, but in the video that I did I gave credit to everyone that actually built something, and that's the way that you should do it, because the stuff in the workshop is there for you to use. Like, go ahead, use it. Like, that goes for anyone. Speaking of the workshop, I built a piece of scenery for the suspended coaster. The stations in the game, they don't have like a floor or anything, so there's just this gigantic gap in between um, the loading platform and the train, and I saw that and I was like, this is ridiculous, and I posted on the forums like, hey, Frontier, are you guys going to do anything about this? And a dev never even commented on it, so I don't really think anything is gonna happen with it, unfortunately, but I tried. Anyways, enough with that. I'm gonna start giving this ride some air hills, because it's an RMC, it should have air hills. And let's start getting you a little bit closer to the ground. That's a nice looking hill. I'm gonna go with another air hill. One thing that I have been noticing with people building these is that they tend to build them exactly how they would like a wooden coaster, and like I don't necessarily think that that's like a bad idea, but considering that they're two completely different types of rides, I do like to think that RMC would try and go for a different experience on these, and not just completely do what one of their wooden or hybrid coasters would do. But again, we don't really know, because there aren't any built, so who knows. And right here I'll go for some quick directional changes, some QDCs if you will. And then I think we'll go ahead and start heading for a brake run, because this ride is pretty short, but it packs a lot into its layout. Let's see, if I go to about there, that's a bit too tall. I think I wouldn't mind it being a little bit closer to the ground. Go for some swoopdies. It's a technical term for a low to the ground turn. It's a swoopdie. Everyone knows this. And yeah, right about now we can start heading into a brake run, and that right there should be about there. And the exit should be roughly there-ish, so then I'll just have this right here go like right alongside it, and I'll get it to about there, and then there. Friction brakes, optional catwalk. And little tiny block section. And yeah, another block section there with some friction brakes. And then autocomplete. I don't know, that looks kind of weird. Cancel. What could I do? I could just have the block section like that, And then autocomplete. That still looks terrible. I've got an idea. How about this? How about I just don't use autocomplete and I build my own? That makes sense. Let me turn off angle snap so I can have this a little bit more precise. See? Why couldn't you have done that, game? That right there looks fine. Now I do realize that in doing this, it is going to have like a kind of weird break run. Actually, no, that shouldn't be a thing. But that break right there should be sufficient in holding the entire train. So I'm gonna say that's fine. Let me smooth out this. This ride might have a kind of weak ending, looking back at it. This is almost like a weird stencil dive right here. That looked pretty weird. Smoothing will definitely do this favors. Alright, I think that's good on the smoothing. It's already smoothed out that. Maybe right there. Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's go and give this thing a little test run. First lead block section, minimum dispatch interval, probably 30 seconds. And number of trains, 2. So yeah, that train right there is currently stopped on that slope section, but the grade itself is pretty it's pretty mild, so I don't think it should be a problem. It's really interesting looking at these restraints on here and the seats, because I don't really know where they got the seats from. It might have been from a concept photo, but the restraints itself, I mean, those are the RMC restraints, except that the ones on wooden coasters, I don't think that they have those hand grabs. I might be wrong, but I feel like Twisted Colossus doesn't have those. Now, anyways, let's go and ride this. It's got a fairly slow lift hill. I might speed it up if the ratings aren't exactly what I want. Alright, here we go. This ride is pretty not tall. And down we go into the top hat, which is off axis. And little airtime hill into a stall. That seemed just fine. Now let's see what those ratings are. 701, 402, 121. All in the green. This ride would be very, very popular. So I probably will end up keeping it. I don't really see myself making too many tweaks to it. But this probably isn't going to be where I leave it. And also, if you've been wondering why I have this here, it was mostly just to do a test on the design of it to see if I would actually be able to get past its weird lift hill, how it just kind of stops right there, like it levels out and then you can have the drop. because I really don't know why they did that. Because there's only one Intamin roller coaster that I can think of that does this, and it's in like, it's either Japan or China. I don't remember which one, but it's not a wing coaster, so it's not even like this is what it was based off of. Like, this is based off of Skyrush. Even the supports are exactly the same, but where is it? Yeah, Skyrush doesn't do that. I might end up keeping this just as kind of an off like camera thing. This was to see if I could trick it into adding an inversion because I saw a tutorial on how to do that. And I was unsuccessful, so that's why there's that gap right there. Basically what you do is you build two like high banked sections like apart from each other, then do autocomplete, and sometimes it'll give you a 0G roll, but in this case it was just doing some weird helixy stuff, so I was like, I guess it's not gonna work on this. That, or I just did it completely wrong. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. I know that there's still kind of a backlog on stuff that people want me to build, and I'll get there at some point more than likely. Oh, excuse me, I had a little burp. Whether it's in this park or a different park, that's kind of unclear at the moment. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm like, as much as I really like this, I am all about Ridge Runner right now. Like, we're gonna go back over there and we'll turn off that. Like, I love this area. This is roughly the guest height, and you just have all these great views right here. Like, that is pretty, and this area is not even done yet. Like, I do want to add actual like buildings here. I feel like I've improved a little bit with buildings. This actually has some details on it, and I'm not done yet. I kind of want to keep adding stuff to it until I'm like, yeah, that's enough stuff. And right now I'm not at that point, so I'm just gonna keep getting better. Also, the exit is probably the most annoying thing with this ride because of where I built it. So when you get off, you go right past the lift hill, but I mean, you get some really nice views. And I know what you're thinking, like, with all the interaction right here, why didn't I build the queue on this side? Because I didn't really want to give away the whole ride initially. I kind of wanted it to be more of a surprise. Like, from right here, and this is without me finishing adding trees, like, you can really only see, like, that part right there, that lift hill, and the drop in a couple turns, but I mean, pretty soon you won't be able to see that. This also isn't the final sign. I kind of want it to be bigger, and also though that fence right there is too short, so not done with that. But anyways, you go down the queue, and then you get to about here, and you have this like really nice view, and then you get right here, and that's kind of when you start to see a little bit more of it. But the main reason that I had for putting the entrance on this side was so that when you're waiting to board, you can actually see the ride going around doing stuff, which I think is cool, and it's a little bit cooler than having it behind you. Also, I felt like I was a little bit too limited on queue space over there, whereas with here I had the area to work with in between that cliff face in there, whereas over here I'd have a lot of floating paths, and I don't want to do that. I'm probably going to cover up these supports at some point, probably with like a combination of wood and rocks. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. If you do think of anything you want me to build that would fit in this park where it's just kind of more weird stuff, let me know in the comments and I might build it. Again, even if you do post something that I haven't built yet, it doesn't mean I'm going to build it. It just means that I might. But the odds are pretty good that I will build it. Sorry. Yeah, I guess that's a sign I should probably stop recording. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.